I always dreamt of being a developer and changing the world. Didn't work out because I was dumb. I tried learning Python and JavaScript, even a language called Kiwi, most of you might haven't never even heard of, through w3schools.com. But I couldn't get my shit straight. So I learned no code stuff like Bubble, Adalo, Webflow, etc. Realized it is not free. Back then, I didn't even hear of GitHub. Year was 2022 to 2023. Ditched no code. Then came 2025. My first AI tool was ChatGPT. Used GPT-3 to code those purple landing pages filled with M dashes. Thought it would change the world. Then switched to Quenya because free. Free. Mm. They are, they have great coding models. Then I also saw that famous tweet about vibe coding by Leo JRR on X.com. Next coding tool. Bold.new. So it's starting sandboxes, dev environments, running shell commands, boom. Again, I thought it would change the world, but it didn't even change my world somehow. Besides, it wasn't free, and I'm broke. I googled all prompt app tools and bought any alternatives. My brain got fired. I tried lovable.dev after I saw 13 YouTube ads of theirs. Same .dev, capacity so all that shit. Again, not free, none of them. I even tried something called Instagram for vibe coding. Lol. Their landing pages are good, but the UI they generated for me, let's not talk about that. It's like David Goggins Hell Week, but for vibe coders, I guess. I finally got a profession, vibe coding. Lol. I was really in the trenches, deep down. There was no prompt to tool, even on the dark web, that I didn't know about. See? Then, for the first time in my life, I heard of an AI coding agent. Read again, not on the prompt tool. It is inside VS Code. I knew about VS Code. I ain't that dumb, okay? It is called Klein. I tried it. Why? Because it was running a free promo of Grok Code Fast 1. A reminder of who I was and am. Broke guy. I even took 3 days off from my job. I had one, okay? Don't think so of me. Because of FOMO. But then I had some issues with Klein because I thought a tool that had to change the world. Don't judge me. Like Klein had to be perfect. This is when I heard of GitHub, lol. Late to the game, so late. I heard of GitHub folks. I realized that there were so-called optimized forks of Klein like Code and Kilocode. I tried Code, but since it didn't have free promos going on, I switched to Kilocode. Kilocode also had no free promos, but I didn't switch because I realized that there was nothing better out there at the time, in my opinion, in the $0 to $0 range, of course. So I checked Kilo's providers, and it had CLIs like Cloud Code Codex, etc. as provider options. I never opened PowerShell. I'm a Windows user, and there ain't anything wrong about that, okay? In my life before, because I never even knew the C of CLI. I thought I was a hacker the moment I opened the terminal. I went through all the CLIs mentioned in Kilo Code, checked their pricing, and saw that Quen Code was free. So, of course, Quen Code plus Kilo Code became my daily driver. Though the Quen models were barely average in mid 2025 for coding. If you remember my X.com banner till a few months ago, I was praising this Quen Code plus Kilo Code combo, acting like I have a huge follower base lol. Mm. But there were too many errors, too many bugs. I hated it. I knew it was time to switch, but there was nothing in my field of sight. I mean, nothing free, of course. So I dealt with bugs. My w3schools.com knowledge finally came useful. Yay! I continued in the wrath of Quen models. I continued until anti-gravity launched. You might be thinking, why did this attract me when so many other coding agents launched with anti-gravity? Well, Gemini 3 Pro and Cloud Opus 4.5 were given out for free in anti-gravity. The top two tier The two top tier sort of frontier coding models out there, priced at the price of my daily wage for 1 million input output tokens. Lol. They are still free even now in anti gravity, but the catch was it wasn't free as in free, but it was free as in free trial. And you know by now that I hit rate limits in max to max 4 hours. Lol. The other thing that I liked about anti-gravity was its agent manager and the fact that it was a full-fledged VS Code fork. But now I already bid goodbye to my faithful servant, VS Code. And I had such a grief-filled breakup ever before, and I meant it. Hey, for the last 3 months, anti-gravity had been my best friend, not the rate limits. The rate limits and anti-gravity didn't affect me though, because I used kilocode and anti-gravity. Kilocode finally started free promos for SOTA AI models. Yippee! By now you could ask me. You didn't need to ask me. I would disturb you upfront. Anything about any AI model, any AI news, AGI, super intelligence, anything, and I would know it all. I knew about Cloud Opus 4.6 launches 1 hour after GPT 5.3, Cloud adds controversy, etc. None of this bothered me because they were not free. But then, dun dun dun, Kimiki 2.5 launched. Boom, open weights, better than OS 4.5 on some benchmarks. Greatest advantage, obviously, but it wasn't beating Opus 4.5 on the benchmark I cared about. Sweet Bench verified, and Sweet Bench Pro and Terminal Bench, and I had a polyglot, etc., which were coding benchmarks. I knew I expected too much from AI Labs by now, any which ways. Since K2.5 was SOTA, I found out that it was free on CTO.new, so I used it a lot and a lot more every day. Within 7 hours of usage itself, I was prompted to switch to the Pro plan. I obviously didn't. Besides, CTO.new was very buggy. The sandboxes took too long, the task agent setup never ended, it became more boring than fun. And now I'm switching from startup idea to startup idea to startup idea. After a few days, the next Open Labs attack. TLM5 and Minimax M2.5 launched. Both are open weights and Minimax M2.5 even beat Cloud Opus 4.5. So-called AI Labs gurus used to yap on X.com that coding is all post Opus 4.5. That's why Minimax M2.5 made me so excited. Once we bench verified, what is the best part? No need to ask. I'll tell you. It's that Minimax M2.5 and GLM5 were both free on the Kilo Code and Open Code platforms. I tried Open Code, but since their MCP setup was a headache for an idiot like me, and since they didn't support native Windows, I stopped using Open Code and switched to Kilo Code. I felt like a king having an option to switch to a free one. Now, Minimax M2.5 plus Kilocode became my daily driver. I use the Kilocode VS Code extension even now because the Kilocode CLI didn't have an agent manager and browser. Now I became spoiled by now, right? But a few days ago, Minimax M2.5 trials ended on Kilocode. GLM5 ended a long time ago. Lol. My heart broke. This is the second most heartbreaking breakup of my life. VS Code was my first. Then, all of a sudden, Coin Labs decided to launch Coin 3.6 Plus out of nowhere. And Code put it on a free promo. Yay! This is a never ending dopamine cycle of model launch. Always open with yes or no. Free promo on Code. Grind till free promo lasts. Repeat. But this time there was an unfortunate for me, fortunate for Coin Labs issue. Coin 3.6 Plus preview got very heavily rate limited on Code. It's that good. Well, what can I say? As an I realized, Labs will prioritize API usage on their own tools and not for third parties like Kiloko. Right? Right? So what about Coin Code CLI, my buddy? I thought. I used it and now I'm addicted. I always was addicted. It's my new daily driver, but I was still using anti-gravity as my harness. I tried m-dash.sh, but it needed projects to be on GitHub, and it wouldn't just commit to GitHub. It would need pull requests to be merged. By now, you might be wondering why such a crack guy hasn't mentioned OpenClaw. Fastest project to beat Linux in GitHub stars in history. Is because I was using Hermes Agent. Magnitude's better than OpenClaw crap. Eh. I used Kilo Gateway as the API provider in Hermes Agent with any free promo model from Kilo Gateway. It was world changing for me, as it always is for me. So anti-gravity plus kilocode plus free promo AI model was still my default daily driver, sadly. But then my 8 GB Windows laptop miraculously so many things can even run on 8 GB. It's lagging if the laptop used to shut down every 5 to 7 hours. Lol. So since I wouldn't buy a new laptop, what? But after me, boss, I'm a broke guy. I tried Z.dev instead of anti-gravity. Anti-gravity took 400 to 500 MB of memory, while Z takes only 150 to 200 MB of data. That's not life changing. My signature was life changing, by the way. Difference for me and for my laptop. And yesterday, as I routinely woke up at 3 am, I pondered on my journey throughout this web code. So I decided to write this book. I also can think at times. Okay. Now you might be thinking, despite us switching so many tools, so many harnesses, so many LLMs, so many AI models, same thing as LLMs, but just vocabulary, so much of yapping, so much shit. What have I built? Well, you'll see. The thing is that I hope you'll see what I built. I also intend this book to be a way to generate attention for my broader launch. I hope you enjoyed this thing book. Thank you.